Sorry, we're starting a little bit late, guys. We're going to give people just a minute or two to get joined up. We're expecting quite a few folks. We're going to be talking about social media management on this episode of our Good Bull Outdoors live Q&A. So we'll just give people about 1 minute, and then we'll get started on this. We've got a long laundry list of topics here to cover. Happy to answer all your questions as we're going along as well. So don't hesitate to go ahead and jump in with questions. And we'll try to catch those. If it seems like we've missed your question, feel free to type it in again. Sometimes it's a little bit hard for us to catch all of them with so many people jumping in. Arizona Bowhunter 14, amazing photography. You guys do amazing work. Thank you very much. We appreciate that, and appreciate you supporting the Arizona Elk Society at their annual banquet.
Yeah.
All right, I think we've got a pretty good group of folks going on here. Let's go ahead and jump into it. I'm actually going to jump in and just say that we appreciate everybody that's been joining us in this journey. We really appreciate everybody that has kind of joined the bandwagon and said, "Hey, we appreciate you guys doing these lives." I realize this is our only our second one, and we're still a little bit rusty doing this, to say the least. But we're learning as we go along. We don't have anybody sponsoring this. We're just kind of doing this because we wanted to get out there, try to bring some knowledge to some folks. We've gained a little bit of expertise in social media, in photography and videography, and there's some folks that have asked us some questions and wanted to learn from us. And take it or leave it. We're just going to throw this information out there, and you're welcome to disagree with us. We don't know everything, but we're going to do the best we can to keep it real, and just give you the information that we can. So we're going to go ahead and jump into social media management. For you guys that are following us, obviously we're live on Instagram. Instagram is our primary platform. I think we're closing in on 24,000 followers. I think one of the big things to realize about Good Bull Outdoors is that we were, 3,500 followers just over a year ago. So, you take a look, we've grown about 20,000 followers in just the last year. And I think a huge portion of that is that we have content that people enjoy. We've gotten some great photography. My wife on the video camera has done a really good job getting the videography, and we've been able to put that out there in front of folks. We want to share some of the things that we've learned in doing that, some of the things that we feel like has helped us grow, share with you some of the metrics that we've used to help us grow our account, and hopefully some of that can be translated with you guys to help you guys grow your accounts as well. So I'm going to jump in, and the first thing I wanted to talk about was brand uniformity. Many of you guys already have accounts, obviously, but if you guys are looking to start a new account from scratch, one of the things I think you guys want to consider is, one of the things we consider when we start a Good Bull Outdoors is, can we get Good Bull Outdoors across every platform that we want to reach? So we looked at Instagram, we looked at Facebook, we looked at Twitter, even though we're not actively using Twitter. And we looked at the internet, and we saw, goodbulloutdoors.com is available. We went ahead and snatched up that domain, and then we snatched up each one of the names that were associated with Good Bull Outdoors, so that we could have uniformity across all of our various reaches. So whether it's Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, you're gonna find us at Good Bull Outdoors, and you don't have to search around. Okay, well, what are they called on this platform, or what are they called on this platform? That's a really important thing when you're getting started, and if you can create that brand uniformity, that's going to help you out to continue to grow. Another thing to consider, even if you're not going to build a website, we still don't have our website built yet, but we bought the domain, I think, 2 years ago when we got this thing started, so that we'd have it available to us in case we wanted to, or we didn't want to grow and then have somebody else grab Good Bull Outdoors, and we'd have to go and pay them for Good Bull Outdoors, or have somebody else basically piggyback off of our brand knowledge and or our brand awareness and use that to their advantage instead of allowing us to use it to our advantage. The second thing I wanted to talk about was, and feel free to jump in with any questions that you guys have. I know we've got about between 15 and 20 people that have joined so far. If you have questions as we're going along, just feel free to jump in.
Yeah, I'm looking at my phone right now, trying to make sure I catch up on any questions for y'all. I'm just kind of sitting here being the sign-in information holder. This is mainly Lauren's, expertise, so I will try to jump in with any questions that y'all have as I see them. So, all right, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, continuing. So The next thing, once you've got an idea about, you've got your brand name and you've gotten it figured out, you don't have to have necessarily a logo. We're still playing around with our logo after a couple of years, and we've gotten some great ideas on it. We've started working with Adobe Illustrator, that sort of thing. But we're still trying to figure that out ourselves. You don't have to have it all figured out to get going. You really just need to get going. You need to make sure that you get that brand uniformity, and then think about your audience. Who are you trying to reach? For us, obviously, Good Bull Outdoors, we started off with a very primary focus on elk. Hi, Natalia. But with the elk, we're also mule deer hunters, and we hunt lots of other things as well. And then, obviously, we have a strong propensity towards conservation issues. We love organizations like the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, and pretty much anybody who is supporting our lifestyle. Nat. Anybody that's supporting our lifestyle, we want to be able to help them. We want to be able to grow that brand awareness. So we've gone from being primarily elk and primarily showing elk footage, whether it be photos or videos, to incorporating mule deer, whitetail, moose. We run into quite a few moose up in the Grand Lake area.
Turkeys.
Turkeys as well. We hunt turkeys. Love turkey hunting.
Livestock photos.
What's that?
Livestock photos.
Yeah, we haven't done too much on livestock photos, but we have done a few. And I know you're big on the equine scene.
Yeah.
The former equine vet over here, and Olympic class jumper. Before she had her little accident. Not fun having a horse fall on you, but that's another story.
That could be another life.
Yeah, that could be another life. The story behind the story. So think about your audience. How big is your audience? Who are you trying to reach? So if we just look at the elk crowd, Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation is about 110,000 followers, give or take. You've got Elk 101 that's also right in that 110,000 range. So if you're just focused on elk, you're going to be limited to about 110,000. Now, let's say, for example, you jump up into conservation. You look at organizations that have 400,000 or 500,000. So what we've done with expanding Good Bull Outdoors from being strictly elk content to being conservation, mule deer, elk, etc., is that we've had a 5-fold increase in the number of people that we're potentially reaching. And I think one of the interesting things that you need to think about is how big can you grow? If you just want to reach that very limited audience, that's perfectly fine. This is your guys doing what you want to do, whatever you guys want to do. Just focus on what you find is your passion. But if you're looking to grow a brand, grow awareness, think about how big that audience is, and then set some goals for yourself as well. So, for us, we're 24,000 right now on Instagram. We're another 15,000 on Facebook. We're just really getting started with YouTube. I think we're closing in on 300 followers on YouTube.
Exactly.
So we're starting to grow, across these different channels, and we're starting to think about, what is our 3-year focus. We haven't really talked about it that much, but it's not terribly unrealistic for us to hit 100,000 followers across each of our channels. See here, Western Creative Industries. If you need any custom decals for your company, let us know.
Yeah.
Actually, we are looking into that right now,
Yes.
so send us a DM if you would.
Yeah, please.
Wapiti Fit, how are y'all tonight? How are you?
We're doing great. We're a little frazzled, but in a good way. We're doing great.
Yeah.
We're happy to be here.
3 kids. We've been running around a little bit. We're sorry that we got started late on this, but we had to get dinner ready. We've got dinner cooking in the Instant Pot, so.
Perfect live dinner.
Yeah, perfect live dinner. It's cooking while we talk to you folks. Yep, send us that DM. We'd enjoy looking towards that. So, 3 years, we could potentially hit 100,000. 5 years, not unreasonable to say that we could hit 250,000. A lot of the accounts that are out there. Jeremy, you're welcome. He said, "Good evening. Thanks for the likes on the elk pictures, the Tennessee elk pictures. You're welcome." Spoke at a college this afternoon. Dan Leanne said, "I spoke at a college this afternoon about social media."
That's
Excellent. Yeah, you've actually been growing faster than us.
Yeah, she's been rocking it.
Yeah, great follow her. She's over. As far as I know, you were over in Nebraska hunting turkeys, so that'd be cool to hear about.
Yeah.
C. Johnson 406. What's the biggest bull you've killed? I talked about that the last time. We'll just. between 300 and 320. I'm not exactly sure. During a move, the bull actually fell off the wall and the skull cracked. But I've shot 2 bulls with the bow and 1 with the rifle. And let's see here. I was going back in 2 weeks, taking my best friend on our first ever hunt. That's awesome. We really love people getting other new people out hunting for the first time.
That's really cool.
Okay, we're going to jump back into this a little bit. So then, content. What type of content will you be using? You need to think about, do you use just photos? Instagram obviously is a big, a strong proponent of photos, but you can also do video. You can do a mix between the two. I think one of the things to consider is where are you putting your focus? And Backcountry Rookies coincidentally said, how much focus do you put on Facebook, or do you think Instagram and YouTube are taking over? I think that Facebook is still a huge audience. I think you can reach, particularly with older hunters, you can reach more people on Facebook right now than you can on Instagram. If you want to reach a younger crowd, you can reach them better on Instagram than you can on Facebook.
I think it's still great to just go ahead and do it all across the board, pretty evenly as much as possible between Facebook and Instagram, for sure, because you're catching 2 different demographics right at the same time. And since they're pretty easily interfaceable, it's not a bad idea to just use both, cohesively.
Yeah, and that was Backcountry Rookies, if I forgot to mention it. And I think one of the important things to think about with Facebook is with being able to reach individuals that are on there that are not on Instagram. You do have sometimes that older crowd, but we've actually had folks that reach out to us on Facebook that do not have an Instagram account, and were talking to us about a late season elk hunt in Colorado, and we were able to give them some pointers, and they were able to harvest a 350 class bull this year. And so, those are the kinds of connections. If you're in this to make connections with others out there in the hunting industry, you can make connections on Facebook that you can't necessarily on Instagram, just like you can make connections on YouTube that you couldn't otherwise. And then one of the things that I'll talk about as well later on in this discussion is that you also need to really think about hitting those industry events. There's nothing like being in person and having a candid conversation with somebody, and we're really looking forward to talking with Backcountry Rookies on a podcast as well. I think listening to podcasts are another great way, as well as joining podcasts, are another way to share experiences. Hey, Arizona Elk Society, good to see you guys. Congratulations on the banquet recently, raising. I don't know if you guys raised over $1 million or almost $1 million, but around $1 million for elk.
A lot of money.
It's a lot of money for elk. That's absolutely amazing.
Awesome.
Really cool stuff. Where do we, where are you going to get your content? So you have to figure out, are you going to be, there's basically one of 3 different things. You're either going to be somebody who generates content like we do. We go out, we take our own photos, we take our own videos, we're doing this live event. This is content that we're creating, and we're interfacing with folks who are digesting that content. And that can be both on the commercial side with businesses who are reposting our photos, using our photos on websites. It can be individuals who are, just simply enjoying the photos that we have. Folks like Arizona Elk Society, who got prints from us and have auctioned those off, or did a silent auction for those at the Arizona Elk Society banquet. To individuals who are purchasing prints from us. We don't have that website up and going, but folks have DM'd us and said, hey, can I get a print? And we've worked with them to get those prints. So you can either go that route, or you can do something called user-generated content, or UGC. So if you do user-generated content, you are relying on content creators to essentially feed your page, or feed your content feed on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, etc. You don't own the content yourself. You're getting permission from them to use that content. Believe it or not, user-generated content is actually the fastest way to generate a following. And the reason is that you can look at across all these different people. Let's say you take some photos from Good Ball Outdoors. You go and you take some photos from BP Outdoor Photography, Bo Priestcorn, a good friend of ours. You go and you take photos from Untamed Images by Jason Loftus, Untamed by JL on Instagram. If you take content from each of these different people and you take the absolute best of each of them and you're posting them on a regular basis, you can actually grow faster than somebody who's just generating their own content, who maybe has to, last year we took 55,000 photos. We've got to sort through those. We have to edit those. if you're doing user-generated content, you don't have to do those. Some of you got something you want
Yeah,
to
as
jump
long
in
as
there
you're
with.
giving them proper credit.
As long as you're giving them proper credit. So you need to think about content rights, you need to think about copyrights, and securing permission for the work that you're doing. Many people on social media will allow you to use their photos and videos with proper credit. I recommend, if you're using user-generated content, that you actually look at the individual's profile before posting. Folks who generally are professional photographers and want you to request written permission before using them will have that written in their profile.
Or
Go ahead.
if it's not, written on there visibly, it wouldn't hurt to DM them real quick just to figure that out.
Yeah.
You don't happen to accidentally make any, bad relationships when all they're wanting is just a little bit of photo credit.
All right, so Sleep Hunt Fish asked, get that order right there. Just get rid of the sleep part. We'll just do the hunting and the fishing part. What is a good range of the amount of content you should be producing as a creator across the different platforms, especially YouTube and Instagram?
Ooh.
That's a great question. So we try to post at least 3 times a day. And we post for Instagram and Facebook. We will post the same content across those 2 platforms, and basically it's going to be a mix of photos and videos, and I'll get into this a little bit later. Sleep Hunt Fish says he doesn't sleep. Well, we got 3 kids. We don't sleep either, so we're right there with you. So we will post about 3 times a day, and I'll get into the specifics of how frequently you should post and that sort of thing. What your mix should be between video and photos. I actually have very specific stuff about that a little bit later. But I do want to say that YouTube is a little bit different. Obviously, if you can produce once a day something for YouTube, that's good. But I really think that all you need to do for YouTube is about once or twice a week, and you'll start seeing some pretty good growth there. I think the strategies for YouTube, which we're really just learning now, have more to do with how you show up in the search criteria, and how you translate from I showed up in the search criteria to people are actually viewing my content. So we can talk about that a little bit more. Where are most of your photos from? Most of our photos are from Colorado. We do a lot in the Estes area, Rocky Mountain National Park. We do a lot all up and down from the I-70 corridor all the way out to the Colbrand area.
Parker?
Parker, yeah, a lot of mule deer in the Parker area. We get up to Yellowstone quite often. Our parents live in Montana, so we get up to Montana, we go up to Yellowstone, pretty much all over the place. Let's see here. Well, Petey Fit said, are days of the week critical on YouTube? We haven't figured that out yet. I would say no at this point from what I understand, but don't hold me to that one. We need to start generating more content on YouTube. We still feel like we're fairly new to that. I don't see a lot of difference in when we post up on YouTube as to when people start hitting it. We actually see that when we first post things, people aren't hitting it right away. We actually find that if we share on our other channels that something is out there, people are more likely to go out there, and we actually see the throughput from Instagram primarily, but also on Facebook, that people are going to YouTube through our other media channels because we have such a strong following on there. We don't show up as high on the search criteria because we're only at 300 followers. I think once we can get up to the point where we hit 3,000, where we can actually monetize, I think then we'll actually show up higher in some of those searches, and we'll find out that we have more people viewing our content, and it actually is kind of a snowball effect.
I have a question about that. Is there a way on YouTube to be able to check how you can on Instagram, like how many people are on or how many people are looking? What's the best day of the week? How you can check the analytics and stuff on Instagram?
I believe that there is, but they recently changed the Creative Studio for YouTube, and I haven't sat down and gone through the new Creative Studio yet for YouTube.
Yeah.
So I still need to do that.
I figured if anybody knew, it'd be you. So.
Yeah. Let's see here. So we talked about securing rights, making sure that you have permission. I do want to say make sure that you have that you give linked credit. Don't just credit the account with a name. Actually create a linked credit back to them. If you're going to be using user-generated content, that is that's content that those content creators are putting out there and making available for you to use if they give you permission to do that. The only benefit that they're really seeing from you is potential traffic from your site over to their site. And think of it as a mutually beneficial relationship, that they're providing content for you, and then conversely you're providing a stream of people that are following you back to them. So you basically create this back and forth situation where you're both growing your accounts. You don't have to worry about growing your own account. You can share content and you can share traffic, and you can both grow as a result. Let's see here, what else do we have? So how to post content, and this is really, I'm going to say, the heart of the strategy for what we do. Before we actually jump into that, I want to give a little bit of validity to the strategy that we've developed as part of this. So we have metrics, and this guy's super tiny. So I'm going to just...
Yep.
Arizona Elk Society, is any one repost app better than the other?
They use those that much, do we?
We actually don't use repost apps. We don't like that, especially as a photographer, when you use a repost app, rather than our logo showing up on the image. I would much rather that somebody uses their phone and takes a screenshot and then just crops out, edits out the rest of the Instagram stuff and just leaves our photo. Other folks who regularly reuse our stuff, we absolutely don't mind them sending us a DM saying, hey, do you have any photos that we can repost? We'll send them 3 or 4 that are clean images, that they don't have to have that little repost thing, that don't have to get any of those ugly repost blocks on there that have like the from Goodwill Outdoors, because you can't click on that. You can't, there's no way for somebody to say, oh, hey, Goodwill Outdoors did this. I can just click on that link and go to them. So, we're more than happy to provide content that anybody else can start using and reposting from us. And for some folks, we've even created a Dropbox account where, we'll just put photos out there that are social media specific, and we'll put those out there and add people to it that say, hey, if you're going to repost, so long as you're providing us credit, so long as you're only using it for social media, we'll go ahead and put these photos up there and you guys can use it. Well, PFIT said, guys, I love this. Will you please save this? I'm dealing with a madhouse currently, but I don't want to miss anything. We are actually planning on posting this up on YouTube, so if you can't join us for the whole thing, hopefully within a day or two we'll have this video edited. We've got our big recorder back up behind this sucker, and we're actually recording this on there as well. We will post this video. Unfortunately, the way I did this, you're going to see me looking down all the time because I'm looking at the live. So it's not going to be 100%. But you'll get all the information and all the content. Good luck with your crazy house. Jeremy Gilliam said, so I've shared my weekly elk inspiration on Facebook using your photos by reposting and recommending your page. Is what you mean by proper credit? Yes. Absolutely. If you can create a link in there that somebody, when they view your content, they can click on it and it will jump over to our page, that is linked content. But that's the absolute best thing for a content creator that wants to grow on social media. I will say that obviously we're going out, we're spending gas money. We are we have to pay for the equipment that we use, so we have to monetize in some way. We can't just continue to not do anything like that. So we do sell prints. We do sell digital images for websites and for other uses. We sell video for folks that want to enhance a website, and we will do like a lease of videos, for example, for a website, and we will charge an amount. It's depending on the quantity of photos or the quantity of the length of time for the videos, that sort of thing. We have price lists for those sorts of things, and we're happy to work with folks, and that's basically how we cover the gas money. And right now, that's really about all that we're doing is covering an occasional amount of gas money. We're still trying to get to the point of breaking even. So let's see here. You guys have hands down the highest quality wildlife images on the pages I follow. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. That's from I'm not sure, McNully. Sorry, it's really tiny. I'm leaning forward to try to read it. But yeah, we really do appreciate that, and we appreciate everybody that's said such positive things to us. We really, it means a ton to us.
There's so many talented people out there that we just feel honored to be a part of it. So thank you very much.
Yep, definitely. I'm actually going to stick this right in front of the screen.
Yeah, you have longer arms than I
Yeah,
do.
Backcountry Rookies, they said what McNolly said. All right, so if you take a look at this, and I know this is hard to read, and we will try to do a better job of getting this up online. This is all of the metrics that we have tracked. And this is 2 weeks. This is the beginning of a 2-month contract, and this is the end of a 2-month contract for an outdoor supplier. I'll just say they're a major supplier of Sitka gear. I won't say who they were exactly, but when we were first getting into doing social media management and realized that we kind of had created like a magic sauce on how to do this. Magic sauce.
I like it.
Basically what we wanted to do was we wanted to prove this use case. So we actually offered this service up to this company for free. We said all we wanted to do is be able to track and share these metrics that we've created. So let me just share a couple of things here. When we started this, it was August 15th, and this group on Instagram had 2,442 followers. When we were done on October 17th, so literally 2 months later, they had grown 105%. They were up to 509,000 followers. So they doubled in 2 months. And that's really something that anybody can do. That's using user-generated content that's going out and looking at some photos that are out there, and they had very specific requirements. Obviously, they sell Sitka gear in their stores, so they wanted photos that had Sitka gear. So we focused on that for them. Got permission, grabbed the photos, put them up there, gave credit, used an appropriate hashtag strategy, which I will talk about. And we're getting a little bit behind on the questions there.
Sorry.
No, we're doing good. We've got a ton of info here. And I don't even know what we're doing as far as time on this, 7:36, so, okay.
So, let's see, we have
Okay. Definitely, I see you guys tagged everywhere. So yeah, that was Sleep Hunt Fish. So that's one of the strategies for growing social media. You put good content out there as a content creator, you can get recognized out there. And once people see that you've got great content, they will repost that with credit, and then you'll start seeing that same image posted in multiple places. That brings more people in, and you get more people that are going to help you grow. And I think everybody said content is king. I think the big thing is if you've got really great content that people want to see, they're going to want to see your stuff anyway. They're going to want to follow you anyway. It's really just a matter of getting out there and getting your name recognized.
So Sheds Up said, "What's going on? I just got here." So we are doing a live specifically related to social media management and kind of talking about Lauren's quote-unquote magic sauce of how to get that done.
How to grow specifically on Instagram and Facebook, but also we're going to talk a little bit about YouTube as well. So that's what we're doing here.
So Mountain Built Media said, "I'd love to help with media art." Seeing you guys DM, thank you very much. We are excited to look at that. Nomad Hunter 99, sorry, I gotta run. Keep up the good work. Okay, well, good night. Hope you have a good night. Thanks.
Check it out on YouTube.
Yeah.
If you want to look at if you want to listen to the rest of this, check it out on YouTube. We've got we've got another page and a half of really great content that we're going to be talking about for the rest of this.
Right. Let's see.
Do you block spam accounts, or do you just let it go until they fall off? Send us another message. What do you mean by spam accounts? And I mean, I can see that meaning a couple of things, like people that are stealing our content, that sort of thing. So let us know exactly what you mean. We'll make sure that we answer that question specifically.
No, it was Hoko Whitetails, right?
That was Hoko Whitetails, yeah.
Arizona Oak Society.
Hashtag magic sauce. That's us, yeah. I want the magic sauce for your photography abilities. We can talk about that. We're actually, I think we decided we're going to do talk about gear next time. Mm-hmm. And we're actually looking for topics. So if you want to talk about how we take photographs, how we find animals, we could potentially add that in as another episode. So do us a favor, send us a DM if you have any ideas that you want us to cover in future Q&As. We'd love to get some additional ideas. So I'm going to go jump back into metrics. So you saw that in 2 months we were able to double this national account. Without a significant growth in the number of accounts that they were following. They went from 419 to 486. That was a 16% jump. So we didn't follow a lot more accounts for them. So it's not like we used, hey, I'm going to follow 3,000 people and that's going to be my strategy. That gets back to something that Trading Timbers asked earlier about, what do you do about the follow, unfollow thing? Honestly, we don't pay attention to it. We don't care if people are, following us or not following us. If they want to follow our content, absolutely great. We want to put it out there for them. If they don't like our content, if all they're in this for is to try to grow their following, that's not what we're there for. We're here to make real connections with people. And I think once people realize that we're here to make meaningful, real connections, and we're here to share beautiful photos and videos, they're going to want to follow us anyway.
Yeah.
So we just don't play the game.
Cocoa Whitetails pretty much was saying the same thing. The ones that don't have any followers and just want to send DMs, eggs in the Twitter world, haha. So yeah, we don't. Anybody that's just basically, if they start following us and we look at their page and they have absolutely no posts whatsoever, and they're following a bunch of people, no one's following them, we kind of figure they're pretty much spam robot people. So we just either block them or
we just don't respond to those types of things. We just disallow them to have a conversation with us. We do follow quite a few people. We have a lot of people that DM us on a regular basis, and we're very happy to have conversations with those folks. Anybody that's, we've been doing this for a couple of years, and I think pretty much anybody that's had a legitimate question for us, we've been more than happy to answer the question.
Even if it's not the right answer all the time, but
we'll give you the best answer that we know. If we're not certain, we'll let you know. All right, so we'll go ahead and continue with this.
Sorry, I'm going to sneeze.
Yep,
I'm trying not to sneeze.
No, go ahead. I think one of the coolest things about this is you look at the reach of this account. This account was reaching 1,648 people when we started. So that was their weekly reach for this account. And when they were done, they were reaching 125,000 people. So that's a 2-month growth. You can literally go from less than 1,700 people to 125,000 people in 2 months by following this. Okay, that's enough of that. We also had some great growth in Facebook forum as well. I'm not going to jump into that. I want to continue on. So here's how to post. Here's the magic sauce. Pick an image or a video that matches what your audience wants to see. If you're an elk account, you need to be focusing on elk photos, elk videos, things related to that. If you are a hunting account, focus on things that are hunting related. It can be wildlife photos, it can be hunting photos, it can be things about the Second Amendment if that's your thing. But whatever your audience is, figure out what that is in advance, and that's your focus. That's where you want to gear your content towards.
And have a good crossover as well. So like we're wildlife photography, but we also we're very passionate hunters as well. So having that good balance of both, that you can reach multiple people but kind of within the same industry, is really key as well.
Yeah. The other thing to mention is that user-generated content accounts, they can actually determine what's going to work well in advance by actually just going and surfing hashtags. So if you do elk, if you look up hashtag elk or hashtag elk hunting, you can actually look at the top posts for that, and there'll be a list of posts that will do well if you use appropriate hashtags. If you're not sure what your hashtag strategy should be, take a look at the posts that are doing well. This is actually how we generated our hashtag strategies. We looked at what hashtags are doing well out there, which ones are associated with large successful posts, and we started just actually grabbing all of the hashtags. I grabbed all the hashtags I could from every one of the popular hashtags that I could think of, and then I started cross-populating and said, here's a list of 100 different hashtags that's related to a subject or an audience that I'm interested in. Which ones are doing well? And then I started doing something called A/B testing. And I'm getting ahead of myself because I talk about A/B testing way further, so let me just jump ahead here. I want to tell you, you can tag 20 accounts in each Instagram post. A lot of people aren't sure, do I tag people in the photo, do I tag people in the video, or do I tag in the caption? Don't tag in the caption. It ends up creating notifications that just end up annoying people. Tag people in the post itself, so in the photo or in the video. The reason that you do this is that Instagram, I have found, they use those accounts that you are tagging to generate a list of potential accounts that may want to see your photo or your post if it's doing well. So if your audience shows that they really are connecting with the post that you're doing, Instagram will try to figure out other accounts that also want to see that information. And how they do that is a combination between your hashtags and the accounts that you post. This is really a huge thing for you guys. We tag 20 accounts. Pretty much every single post that we do, we will tag 20. We never tag the same person. Well, I shouldn't say never. We try not to tag the same person more than once a day because we don't want to annoy them. And typically those people that we are tagging repeatedly, we try to mix it up a little bit so that we're not annoying any one particular person with the tags. But I will also tell you that I encourage you to tag us, because the more often that you tag us, that also helps our growth as well. So it really becomes a symbiotic relationship. Again, like I said, you can help those accounts grow, accounts that you enjoy. You see that I'm wearing a Mountain Ops hat. I tag Mountain Ops. I don't have a sponsorship with them. You see that I've got a Vexel Outdoors shirt. I see you looking at it. You're like, what shirt are you wearing? Tag these different groups. Backcountry Rickers, you're welcome for the tags. We will tag you very often, and we'll make sure to let people know that we love your content, we love your podcast, and we love what you're doing in the industry. We love the connections that you're making with other people, and that you share our philosophy about we can really all grow. Nate the Great, same every day of the week. We mix it up a little bit. We'll tend to post more mule deer photos on Mondays for Muley Monday. Arizona Elk Society, we will get to value and giveaways. We will talk about the giveaway process. But I think that as a whole, the giveaways are going to be a whole other discussion. I'll just very quickly say, since you asked the question right now, since you asked the question about the giveaways, we have found good and bad about the giveaways. A huge giveaway actually creates a lot of growth, creates a lot of name recognition, and actually can have a benefit beyond just Instagram or beyond just Facebook. We really think that if you do it the right way, you can see a lot of benefit in a giveaway. If you have a very small one, you'll see a lot of follow and drop. But if you've got great content, once people see that content, they're going to be a lot more likely to stay following you once they find out about you.
I just put my glasses on back on, I can't see.
What's that?
I just put my glasses back on, I can't read it.
All right, so I mentioned that Instagram uses those tags to determine a likely audience for your post. So if those of you that are out there you see this a lot in the industry, like if you are an optics company, you'll see people when they have sponsors, or when they have people who are working with their ambassadors, for example, they'll say don't tag any other optics company. And what I would say there is that you want to actually tag those other optics companies, because you are directing traffic to your account, which helps the group that you're being sponsored by, that you're the ambassador for. I would not put the name of those other companies within the caption, but as far as those tags go, what you're doing is you're tagging not necessarily just that company. You're actually tagging the audience of that particular account. So if you tag, say for example, 15 different optics companies, there are that many out there. You're not necessarily saying, hey, I support these 15 different optics companies. What you're saying is that I want my post to be viewed by individuals who are following optics companies. Mm-hmm. So keep that in mind. You don't have to agree with that strategy. That's just something that we have found, and that goes to pretty much any of these industries. You may be sponsored by a particular camel company, but you can tag every camel company out there, because your audience is individuals who follow camel companies.
Depending on your contract.
Depending on your contract. If it's something you're not allowed to do, I would actually talk to a sponsor and say, hey, this is how we believe that, or this is how Good Bull Outdoors believes that those tags are being used.
This is their magic sauce.
Yeah, we won't. This is their magic sauce. This is the magic sauce for how to grow. We won't, we won't comment on these other brands, but we will tag them so that we're being exposed to that audience, so we can help you grow and help us grow. That's really how we see those tags working. And that jumps into the next section, which is develop a list of accounts to tag. We actually have a list of 60, 70, 80 accounts that we tag, all over at least 10,000. And this was developed when we first got started. So when we had 100 people following us, we actually said, who are all the big accounts? We create contents. We wanted to find all those UGC accounts, or user-generated content accounts, that are reposting, so that they could help us grow. Mm-hmm. And we started tagging all those different accounts. And now we actually tag accounts that are smaller than us, in a large part because we want to make connections to individuals. We want to promote those brands. We want to promote those, podcasts or whatever it is. We're promoting other individuals who are, who can help us grow, but also that we can help grow. Let's see. Jeremy said, "Good point. Contacts are delicate." Yeah, contacts are definitely delicate. And yes, that was the dinner bell. We're not going to leave you yet, though. Stick around. Let's see here. The stock archery. Just give it to Western Contours. Western Contours podcast. We need to start listening to you guys. We're going to start doing that here pretty soon. We're kind of going through a list of podcasts that we've been adding into our loop here lately.
Yeah.
But yours is definitely one that's caught our attention. We want to make sure that we have a chance to listen to your podcast here pretty soon. So like I said, develop a list of accounts that you can tag. Keep it in your phone so that you can reference that back. If you're tagging 20 every time, it's actually really difficult to remember every time. Now that I've gotten to do it, where I'm doing 3 a day, pretty much every day, it's a little bit easier for me to remember. I know that, hey, post 1 is, I'm going to go ahead and tag optics companies, and I'm going to tag media account, and I'm going to tag knife companies. Second post of the day, I'm going to tag coffee companies, and I'm going to tag sports drinks like Mountain Ops or Dark Mountain or Wilderness Athlete. Basically create these different groups of accounts that you want to tag, that you want to potentially create relationships with. I've got our list of camo companies that we don't have a camo company that we're sponsored by. I think we own camo from like 5 or 6 different companies, and there's things that we love about each one of them. So when we're wearing a particular one, we'll go ahead and tag them. Backpack companies. I mean, the list goes on. Think about the different companies that you may want to work with, the different companies that you want to have a relationship with, and tag them and separate them out and say, hey, once a day I want to focus on this type of account, and use that list once a day, every day. And obviously, if they don't want you to tag them anymore, then
They'll reach out to you.
They'll reach out to you. They'll say, "Hey, would you mind, not tagging me anymore?" Go ahead.
Also, all the things all the people that you are absolutely passionate about as well. Because through our experience, any will be like, "Oh, we really want to be. We would love to be sponsored by this, so and so company. So let's start tagging them. Let's have them be, privy to what we're doing." And it turns out that they're not really vibing with our stuff, or vice versa. So another way to look at it is all the things that you're passionate about is something that you should definitely tag, and not just the people that you would hope to eventually work with or want to be sponsored by, stuff like that as well, which
Let's see here. Great info. Thanks. P.S. Always love your posts. You're welcome. Western Contours. Let's see here. Great info. Thanks. The Bear Taylor.
Are all these gigums, or are they just thumbs up?
Yeah, she's an Aggie. She's big into the whole gigum thing. So let me keep going here. So we talked about the types of accounts. So elk accounts, deer accounts, knife accounts. We talked about all those. Create different segments, and then if you're going to be posting 3 times a day, every single day, which I'll talk about a little bit more later. If you're going to be posting to each one of those different types of accounts, just try not to double post. Thank some of those accounts, especially the ones that you're looking to have a relationship with, and let's just put it out there. If you want to have a relationship with one of these companies, send them a DM. It can't hurt. We've met some great folks that have said, hey, we don't know if you're working with anybody in this particular realm. Do you have an interest in talking about it? And we've said, hey, yeah, we're not working with anybody in that area. We don't have any sponsors in that area. Let's talk. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I think I even mentioned at one point, there's you need to definitely make sure that the individuals that you're working with, the sponsors, are being mutually beneficial to you. Let's see. EJ Bart 19, you guys are awesome. Thanks for the info. You're welcome. We're just getting close to done with the first page here. We got lots more information. We're going to try to slip it all in, but we're really filling up some time here. So I'm going to try to get ahead a little bit faster. So next thing, write an engaging comment every time. If you can't think of something engaging to write, you can always go online and find a good quote. Look at the image. What does it mean to you? Find a quote related to that meaning. If it's a dark image with bright highlights, think about shadows and go do an internet search for shadow quote, and you're going to find 300 quotes that are really cool, that are going to make somebody's day. Just credit the author, dump it into your comment, and away you run. Ask questions as well. The more engagement that you have, and this is part of the magic sauce as well. I'll tell you.
Sorry.
Yes, hashtag magic sauce. One of the things about the magic sauce as well is, if you take a look at how a post gets promoted, they're for the first hour going to show your post to people that follow you. 100% of the viewers within the first hour are going to be people who already follow you. Those folks will determine whether or not you get viewed by anybody else. The higher frequency of individuals from that group that like your photos, compared to other people who are posting similar content, you will jump up with the hashtags, and based on that, they will say, okay, you're going to score higher for those hashtags. Now we're going to start exploring your photo in the hashtags. And if you do well for those hashtags, you'll stay up in the upper echelon, those top hashtags. If you don't do well, you'll drop out and you'll just go into the reasons. So the more your people engage with your stuff, and that goes for likes, it goes for comments. Comments actually account for more than likes do. So the more people who are commenting on your stuff, the higher your algorithm score, whatever it is that is not magic sauce, algorithm score that Instagram has. Those posts are going to end up ranked higher, and are going to be seen by more people. So if you take a look at a post that, hey, I thought this was really good, why didn't that do well? Well, it didn't do well primarily because your audience didn't mark it up high in that first hour. So you can improve that by producing really great content, producing meaningful captions, and really those two are going to help you get that initial score, but also having folks who are following you. Nice hat, dude. Thank you. The more people who are going to comment and the more people who are going to like your photo within the first hour that you post it is going to drive that thing up there. And you're actually going to see that instead of your post dropping out of getting new likes within the first 3 hours, that it's going to have a longevity of, in some cases, 24 hours, in some cases, 3 days. What about time of day? That's a great question. So I'm going to get to that. I'm actually going to jump ahead and answer that right now. We post 3 times a day. I recommend that in your area you post at 7 a.m. to get that early morning crowd. Your post is going to do very well for the first 3 to 4 hours. If it does really well, it's going to do well for up to 24 hours. So if you post at 7 a.m., your content is going to be out there and viewable by your followers and some others for approximately until about noon. We then post another post around noon. That's going to hold you over until the evening crowd comes online, and then you post again and you hit that evening crowd. Backcountry, all right, Mountain Hunter Box is here. Okay, it's a party now. Yeah. So time of day, we actually post 3 times a day, and we try to keep it relatively consistent. And I'll tell you right now, the reason we try to keep it relatively consistent is that part of the algorithm that Instagram uses is predictive analytics. What predictive analytics means is that Instagram says, you always post at this time of day. You always post this type of content. So we're going to show your stuff to people that are like that. I'll give you a great example. When we were doing elk, and then we wanted to add mule deer photos, because we've got some monster mule deer around here, and we love mule deer as well. When we started adding mule deer, they didn't do that well, did they? No. It was, we get 1,000 likes on an elk photo, and then we get 100 likes on a mule deer photo. And we're like, what's wrong with this? It's a great photo.
It's not an elk.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's obvious. But, one of the cool things about this was we continued to post anyway. And what we learned about this was that Instagram was using predictive analytics to say, you aren't mule deer people. Mule deer people don't care about your stuff. But then after we started posting and people started liking our stuff and we continued to tag mule deer people, Instagram started saying, well, you're elk people and you're mule deer people. So we just recently posted a mule deer photo that got 1,700 likes. And we've seen a growth in that additional audience. So what we did is we said, elk are our audience. Elk lovers, elk nuts, elk addicts, whatever you want to call them. Alcoholics. Elk assassins, all you elk people that are out there, that was our primary audience. But we also wanted to touch get our mule deer photos out there and touch that audience as well. So what we did is we said, we've got elk, we've got mule deer, but we had to wait for the mule deer to catch up with the elk. And we did that by posting. It took about 3 weeks. So if you want to expand your audience, it's going to take you about 3 solid weeks of posting in order to start engaging those hashtags, engaging that additional audience. Which animal is your favorite? Elk. Mule deer people do like your stuff, and we like you guys too. We love mule deer. I've hunted mule deer a lot longer than I've hunted elk. I've hunted mule deer a lot more than I've hunted elk. But man, there's just something about a big bull screaming his head off at 3 yards in September. Yeah. Just can't beat it. All right, did I get too far off topic?
I don't think so. I almost strayed you further a bit.
Okay.
Wait, sorry.
Back out of the rabbit hole. Okay, hashtag strategy. We talked a little bit about this. Hashtag strategy is huge for Instagram, not so big for Facebook. I'll talk a little bit. I think I missed a point with Facebook. Facebook is more video driven. If you want to grow on Facebook, you need more video content. If you want to grow on Instagram, you need to focus on your hashtag strategy and your content. And it can be pictures or videos, but you need a mix. I will tell you that picture posts will last anywhere from 3 hours to about 3 days on Instagram. If you look at video content on Instagram, it's going to last about 3 days. If you look at video content on Facebook, it can last months. And the reason is, and I'll get into this a little bit later on, the reason is how you can share videos, how you can share photos on Facebook is much different than how you can share it on Instagram. You don't determine how your posts are shared on Instagram, but you very well can on Facebook. The reason you can is you can take a great video, one that you know is going to engage your audience. You can join groups. You can join Elk Addicts, for example, which has, I think, over 100,000 followers. Maybe it's way more than that on Facebook. And you can share that video over to Facebook.
Elk Hunting North America.
Elk Hunting North America is another big one for elk. There's lots of different groups out there. You can share that same video to multiple places, so you are basically in the driver's seat about how you get your content out there on Facebook. And that's a huge strategy difference. I think one video is the result of us gaining 5,000 followers on Facebook. It was viewed by over a million times.
The helicopter fire?
No, it was the group of the 3 velvet bulls up in Rocky Mountain National Park feeding towards us.
Yeah.
We had a couple questions here. I'm going to see if I can't scroll back up to them real quick. Backcountry Rookies asked, how many different types of photos should you have, i.e. elk, deer, antelope, gear, etc.? Go ahead.
I would think that it's kind of mainly towards also what day of the week it is. So for all y'all Instagrammers, mainly, we have Muley Monday, Wapiti Wednesday, Fuzzy Friday for velvet photos. So if you really take into account the day of the week and what people have declared that day of the week is, that's kind of how we gear which animal we're kind of posting within that day. Is that correct?
Yeah. Let's see here. Molly said, I'd love to see more whitey pics too. Man, something about those mountain whiteys gets my blood going. So we're going to try to start more frequently posting Whitetail Wednesday. Mm-hmm. So keep an eye out on Wednesday. We've got actually a really beautiful photo that we're going to be posting tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that one. But the individual who was our 20,000th follower, they're from back east somewhere. I can't remember what state exactly, Virginia, I believe. And they actually looked through our photo gallery and said we offered them a 16 by 20 canvas print for being our 20,000th follower as part of our 20K giveaway. And they chose a whitetail photo. So yeah, we've got some great whitetail photos out there too. Probably a lot more than we've been actively posting because we've been trying to grow mule deer. But as we get more of those whitetail photos, more of an inventory going, we will continue to increase the frequency of posting those whitetail photos as well.
And time of season as well is also a big thing. What are people really excited about? Right now, everyone's excited about, turkeys and the thunder chickens and, getting all that out. And right now, a lot of the antlered animals have dropped and are growing their fuzzies, so people will get even more excited here in the next month or so when babies are starting to drop. So that's when we do an influx of all the baby pictures, and so we kind of pertain it to what type of year it is, hunting wise and wildlife wise as well.
Yeah. For example, once people get tired of seeing these, gigantic 400-inch velvet bulls that we keep taking pictures of,
Never.
then we'll throw in a hard-horn picture of a, gigantic 400-inch bull.
Let's just start a new Instagram page just for incredible.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden people are like, oh my God, look at this content, it's amazing. So yeah, you got to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
What are people excited about right now? People love seeing the velvet bull pictures. People love current content as well. When we find a bull that's just growing ridiculously big compared to everybody else, we'll go ahead and not only post that, but we'll let people know, hey, this just happened this week.
Yeah.
This is something cool that's out there that you have to you have to come and see for yourself.
Like when we saw the bull mating still in December up in Estes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, full-on successful mating. And if you have questions about the success, we have photos to prove it. But full-on successful mating in December of this bull elk and
Earmuffs, kids.
yeah, earmuffs. Let's see here. What is the minimum hashtags I should post? There's actually the next thing that I had on here. So after you've developed the list of hashtags that you have, and we recommend creating large lists of hashtags that you use, I recommend you break it down into an A/B strategy. Create 2 different groups of hashtags. So for elk, we actually have 4 right now. And we have 2 different groups that we post. We have an A set and a B set because we want to post 2 elk pictures a day. So we'll post A for the first one, and we'll post B for the second one. Each of them consists of between 15 and 22 hashtags. I'll tell you right now, the common methodology, common knowledge is that you should post 11. Posting posting less than that will decrease decrease the success of your post, and then posting more than 11 will actually also decrease your the successfulness of your post. That's not the case. At least that's not the case that we found. We have been tracking our own metrics. This is Good Bull Outdoors metrics that we've been tracking since the beginning of the year, and we do what we call A/B testing. So we will test hashtag group A, and we will test hashtag group B, and which one performs better and which one performs better at which time of day. We will change up hashtags. So if somebody said, hey, would you mind adding my hashtag that I've created to your list of hashtags that you use, we'll actually do A/B testing on it. We'll say, hey, we'd love to do that. We'll see if it works for our strategy. If it's going to decrease the effectiveness of our accounts, we probably won't do it. Yeah. If it increases the effectiveness of our posts, we will do it. So by doing this A/B testing, you can, once you've found a successful group, if A performs better than B, you can say, okay, I'm going to keep A the way that it is, and I'm going to keep tinkering with B, and I'm going to try to make it better. I'm going to pull out this hashtag and replace it with this one. Does my success with that hashtag over time continue? And it's telling us that we have 2 minutes remaining for our live. So what we're going to do here real quick, when this time ends, we're going to go ahead and end the live, and we're going to jump back in and start it back up again if it lets us. If it's not, we'll reschedule this for another session. But stick around, be ready to jump back into the next live session. We're going to keep going with the rest of this particular topic. So you've got your A/B testing. You can add hashtags. One of the things that I want to tell you is that you need a mix. Don't do hashtags like hashtag pick of the day. The reason you don't want to do that is that that's got 484 million posts to pick of the day. You're never going to show up in the top hashtags on that. You want to look at a group of hashtags that's between 5 and 50,000, depending on the size of your account. If you're as big as we are, you can bump that up and you can start looking at hashtags that have, say, 300,000. But look at growing your hashtags with the size of your account. The bigger your account, the bigger the hashtags that you can influence and end up in the top factor. And I talked about A/B testing. I talked about posting 3 times a day and about posting 3 to 4 hours apart. So that's actually the end of page 1. We'll get through page 2 a lot faster because we've already talked about a lot of it. So we're actually going to end the live right here. Stay tuned. We're going to jump right back into it again. We're going to start the live back up. We're going to give folks about 1 minute to join us again. So just hang tight real quick.
Saving it.
Yep.
working?
It says we're live.
All right. It lives.
It lives. We don't have anybody that's joined us yet. Oh, we got one. And two. Hello. Instagram can't stop us. They can only hope to contain us. Had to say it. Round two. Mr. Elk Hunter Extraordinaire. Welcome.
Is it
Nope.
joined?
No, so you're in yours. You're trying to go live on you.
I don't want to go live on me. I'm live enough right now.
All right, we're back up. We're back up to 15 or so folks. We're going to go ahead and jump back in there. Awesome European mount. Yeah, let me show you that real quick. There you go. How's that for a view? That's an archery bull. Called that bull into 3 yards. And that beautiful mount that we went ahead and put it on there was my wife's idea. So we went ahead and built that ourselves. Really cool. Okay. All right. We got a big following here. We're going to jump back into it. We talked about predictive analytics. If you guys have any more questions about predictive analytics, go ahead and ask me that, because the predictive analytics thing was something that I spent a lot of time trying to figure out. It was not intuitive. Holly K. 21121, turkey time here in Kansas. Can't wait to have a couple in the freezer. So when do we get the invite? We don't mind shooting turkeys. Oh wait, you said Kansas. Never mind.
Wow.
Sorry, I had to do it. No, we love turkey hunting regardless of where it is. We can just close our eyes as we cross the border into Kansas. So ask us questions about the predictive analytics. It doesn't have to be here. You can ask us. So should the hashtags you use be close to your follower number? It doesn't have to be close to your follower number. I actually recommend a mix, and you'll find that the more of a mix that you have, the better you'll do. And that gets kind of back to that strategy of the A/B testing. We have some that are, I think, in the 3,000 to 5,000. So we've got 24,000 followers on Instagram, but we use some hashtags that are in lower numbers, in the 1 to 3 to 5,000 range, and we mix that with some that are in the hundreds of thousands. And occasionally we will get lucky and we will show up in the top for some of those really big hashtags. Seems like the bigger that our account gets, the more likely that happens, and the longer it stays in those numbers. I think one of the really cool things that you can do is some of the less frequently used accounts, which are those hashtags, which are those smaller ones, like some of the women hunting hashtags, for example. Mm-hmm. If you look up some of the women hunting hashtags, a wife of my video with wow, a wife of my video. I've been talking too long. A video of my lovely wife here.
That was great. As I was thinking in my head, I was like, no, that sounds right.
Oh, that's good. That works. That's what I get for making fun of Kansas.
Yeah.
Anyway, a video of her with a couple of front shoulders from a mule deer that we shot. She was the weight was a little much. She was trying to stand up. It's actually still listed as one of the top posts for some of these women hunting hashtags. So you can have a really long longevity with some of those. Yes, watch out.
I need to post the fail of that video too.
No, we posted the fail.
We did?
We posted the fail. It didn't do as well as the successful.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we're going to continue on here. Let's see, did we answer all the questions? We got another comment about nice mount. Yeah, we love that sucker. We'll be living in Estes after next year.
Oh, jealous.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're upgrading from Kansas, that's for sure.
Yeah. You just got 2 roommates, by the way.
Yeah, well, that depends. I did do a post earlier today about the shed hunting closure and about the red flag Second Amendment bill being passed and then signed into law by the governor. I was telling me my battery's getting low, down to 20%, but we're going to keep going still. We're going to win this thing.
I'm going to go grab the charger.
Okay. All right, let's see here. So I need to jump ahead. If you want to grow quickly on Facebook, you need good video content. So we talked about that if you didn't join us. On Facebook, video is king. Biggest elk I've seen, let's see here. Biggest scoring bull that I've seen was the Incredible from that lives in Estes. Anytime you want to go holler at me, we will holler at you. send us a DM. We'd love to get together with you. The biggest massive bull that I've ever seen, I actually ran into in somebody's garage. It was when I was a kid. I don't even remember. Will the Huntsman, hi from Ireland. Hey, thanks for joining us from Ireland. Appreciate that. It was when I was a kid, but it was the most massive bull that I've ever seen. And the bases on this bull were basically touching, and they were like this big around. So to give you an example, my hands are about from thumb to middle finger about 9 inches. So he was just over 18 inches around on the bases. Literally the most massive bull set of bull antlers I've ever seen, and that was a dead animal that had actually died of old age on some winter range that was found. East side of Kansas around Lawrence is beautiful. I've actually heard that. Unfortunately, most of my experience with Kansas has been on the western side, and I think the last time I was there it was 115 degrees, and my truck vapor locked. It was not a fun experience. Go ahead and plug it in. We're going to hold off on charging it just yet because I have to move it and plug it into the bottom of the thing.
You can probably do it from around. Oh no, you do.
So the other thing I want to say is go ahead and post content to all of your accounts at the same time. You can post to Twitter, Instagram. Through Instagram, you can post to Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook all at the same time. And then one person asked us online, when we do those questions in our stories, we actually do take those really seriously. I actually take a copy of them and make sure that I try to address them at every one of these things. So somebody asked us a question of, does it make a difference where you post your hashtags, whether you post it in the caption or whether you post it in the first comment afterwards? I didn't know the answer to that, so actually the last couple of weeks I've been posting them in the first comment, whereas I had been posting them in the caption. I haven't found a difference in the quantity of posts being pushed high in those hashtags based on where I'm posting it. So it doesn't seem to make a difference. West side is like being in hell, as is eastern Colorado. Yeah, I'll give you that one in eastern Colorado as well.
It's basically Kansas.
Yeah, it's basically Kansas.
Oh, she's gonna get us.
Oh, Hoko Whitetails, that was you. There you go. So there's your answer. Instagram blocking. Do me a favor, write a little bit more about that. Do you mean shadow blocking? So I'm going to keep going here and say, okay, so post to all of your accounts at the same time. That's another big strategy. I also mentioned post to YouTube at least once a week. Posting to your account 3 times a day. That's a huge one. So that's basically the magic sauce for how you post to Instagram and how you post to Facebook. Make sure you're sharing to those groups on Facebook. So then what's the other thing that you can do besides posting your own content, besides posting user-generated content? What else can you do? And the first things first, be active. Comment on photos for the hashtags that you use. Actually go into Instagram and say, look at hashtag elk, and then look at what's being posted in the recent stuff, not just in the most popular stuff. Go to the recent, click on the first photo, the person who posted that. If you like the photo, say something about it. And I will tell you as well, this is another big thing, pay attention to this one. If you comment on somebody's photo, that individual's posts in the future will show up more frequently in your feed than if you don't comment on their stuff. So if it's somebody that you want to see their stuff, comment on their stuff and they will start showing up more. Yeah. Jeremy said posting to Instagram and then not getting enough likes, etc. For whatever reason. Instagram, Second Amendment, hunting blood, etc. Okay, so basically I'm going to talk about this real quick. There's 2 things that Instagram can do. They can limit the content that is shown by you based on the hashtags that you use or based on people reporting your content, and that's called a virtual shadow ban. You haven't actually been banned. They just are suppressing that scoring criteria. So one of the scoring criteria is in that algorithm that they use. We talked about people liking your stuff. We talked about people commenting on your stuff. If people report your stuff as being against the rules, that will bring down your scoring on the algorithm, and it will reduce those posts' frequency and showing up high in the hashtags. The other thing that count towards that is if you do content violation. So if you use somebody's content and don't give them credit for it, and they file a request with Instagram for content violation, and they find that you have violated their content rules, they will basically count that against you for a period of time. And then there's a full-on shadow ban. And with a full-on shadow ban, the only way to know that you've been shadow banned is to actually go onto another account and search for a post that you've done and see if you actually show up. If that post doesn't show up under that account that's not following you, then you've been shadow banned. If they can't find you, if an account that is not following you can't find you, then you've been shadow banned. And those shadow bans tend to last from 3 days to upwards of a week. I think we had some other questions there.
Backcountry rookies commented as well.
Let's talk about the month or so that you saw your numbers dip and how you recovered. Yeah, so
More than a month, wasn't it?
it was 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So we dropped for 6 weeks. I didn't put the numbers right in front of me, but I will tell you that for some metrics we dropped 95%.
Yeah.
Why did it happen? There's some speculation. I am a firm believer that, and I've actually seen this written in a few different articles, that Instagram has instituted a crackdown on certain hashtags that they don't like. It's kind of like the virtual shadow ban, where they simply are reducing the likelihood of your content showing up. I believe that Second Amendment is being targeted. I believe that hunting photos are being targeted. I believe that anti-wolf hashtags are being targeted. And I believe that the reason that it's happening is that pro-wolf groups, anti-hunting groups are actively going into hunting accounts, and they are putting in content violation notices to Instagram and saying, this group that is pro 2A, this group that is pro hunting is violating Instagram's use rules, and that's bringing down our algorithms. The other thing that I think happened was that Instagram got hacked. I've heard that mentioned. They either got hacked or they were trying to fix a security issue. And I believe that we know that Instagram actually went down for over a full day. And it was right after that this issue happened. So they were either reprogramming for this work that they were doing on virtual shadow banning, these hashtags and these accounts, or they actually had a glitch internally related to either a hack or a programming issue that they were attempting to institute, and that created a scenario that created a cascade that they had difficulty recovering from.
Did you mention at all kind of the actual numbers that happened, what we were getting our reach at, and then during that time what it kind of dropped?
I didn't mention it because I didn't have the numbers in front of me. I did mention that it was about a 90% drop on some metrics.
Yeah.
We were having on average 300,000 impressions a week, and we dropped down to 40,000.
Yeah.
We were seeing a growth of about 420 to 450 followers a week, and we dropped down to as low as 60 a week. We're currently running about 100 a week right now, so we're still, our growth is about 75% lower than it was before. Mountain Hunter Box said, I know that roughly 40 to 50 days my post dropped from 300 to 500 likes to about 40 to 50 during the same period. So then obviously everybody wants to know, what do we do to recover from this? We haven't fully recovered. We're still down about 75% a week in our growth, but we have started clawing back on our impressions, on our reach, and we've been doing that by actually, what I talked about, being active, engaging these other accounts. We've been actually doing a focus on more Facebook and less on Instagram. And that's actually helped us. That's translated over to people that are on Facebook that are either joining Instagram or didn't know that we also had an Instagram account, going out and following us on Instagram, going out and following us on YouTube.
Yeah.
So when Instagram said, hey, I'm going to reduce what you're doing here, we said, you know what, have at it, come at us. We will just use this as an opportunity to expand our influence in these other areas, and we will make ourselves less reliant on Instagram. It seems to be having a positive impact. We're seeing that growth. I think I had the numbers in front of me for Facebook. Our reach the last 7 days on Facebook is up to 109,000, and that's up 404% since the beginning of the year. So we've actually seen that growth on Facebook because we've done a concerted effort. Once Instagram started messing with our account, we did a concerted effort to grow in other areas as well. So we've definitely been seeing that growth. I think for the year so far, we're up 13% on Facebook. For the year, we're actually still up 24% for the year on Instagram. But we'd sure love to see those numbers at 400 a week again.
Thanks, Holly, said that she shares our stuff on Instagram.
Oh, thank you.
I'm
We
sorry,
appreciate
Facebook. Sorry.
On Facebook, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. We
Thank you.
appreciate that. And
Even though we're saying bad things about Kansas.
it's all in good fun. I will readily admit that I have lived twice in North Dakota, so I'm not sure where that falls on the Kansas spectrum. North Dakota definitely gets hot. Not necessarily 115 degrees hot, but I think the state bird in North Dakota is the mosquito, and yeah, it's good times, great fishing, great waterfowl hunting. Holly K said, "You and everyone else."
Yeah. I guess they're getting out of there for a reason. They're going to a better place. So.
Yeah. Develop relationships in your industry is another thing that you can do to help grow. Support one another. I think this is the biggest thing. You know, we are a community. We've talked before that there are people who are in our community who say, that it's a competitive world, that if, in order for me to succeed, I have to tear somebody else down. We do not believe that. We believe that there is room for everybody to grow. Our industry, especially online, is continuing to grow. We have segments of the industry that are growing, and while hunting overall, the numbers are going down. I think as we diversify, hunting as a whole is going to go up as we get women hunters out there, as we get new hunters to join our ranks. We will see that growth, and we are seeing that growth show up in some segments of the younger population on Instagram and on Facebook.
We absolutely believe that we would not be where we are if it wasn't for all the other amazing people out there within our industry. We are so fortunate to have learned from them, learn from y'all, and have y'all's approval and appreciation, and the people that the minute people in this industry that are just out to cut other people down just so they can get ahead. It's just not the way to go. So.
Yeah. It's not the game that we're going to play, and we're going to be here to support everybody that's out there. And
Life's too short.
Life's too short. We do hunting stuff because we love hunting, and we love conservation, and we want to keep this going for the next generation, and we want to bring more hunters into the industry, and that's what we're here for. That's what we're on social media for. We're not we're not doing this to become famous. We're doing this because we have passion for what we do. We love hunting. We love the animals. We love getting out there with them. We have a passion for elk.
We're doing it we have stockpiles of bottles of magic sauce, and we just want to spread the bottles of magic sauce around.
If you've got questions, if you want to grow, if you want to do things better, if you want to, if you want to sit down and say, send us a message once a week and say, hey, what could I be doing better? We'll tell you. We're not necessarily right all the time, but we'll tell you. It's no secret. We'll tell you how we grew 20,000 followers in a year, and we'll let you know exactly what it's going to take to do it.
When and where do I get a GBO hat and shirt? We are in the process of figuring that out, Backcountry Rookies. Y'all are keeping us on our toes. I like it.
Yeah.
It's like y'all are reading our minds of everything that we're trying to get into. So we're getting there.
Jeremy Gillian, personally, I'd like to thank you for your passion and welcome new people into the elk community. Yeah, thank you for your passion as well. We really do appreciate all the comments that you make on our stuff. We appreciate you sharing stuff. And pet him? Is she supposed to pet me?
That guy or this guy?
Oh yeah, sure, the elk. Yeah, now we know where things lie. Does it help to limit the amount of words in an Instagram post? No, we have not found that to be the case. There are limits to how many characters that you can do in an initial Instagram post. Oh, pet him, Fred the elk. Oh yeah, the elk up in Estes Park. They have an elk called Fred.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So no, the number of words doesn't seem to make a difference, but I will tell you that unless people get used to reading your captions, and that's what I said before, make the captions meaningful, unless people get used to reading your captions, for the most part they're going to look at your image or your video and they're going to go on through. I will also tell you another little tidbit. Videos have to be viewed for 3 seconds before it can count as a view. If you've got a video that you want people to see, don't start off slow. Don't start off with a black fade in on your video. Those black fade ins, when they show up in a feed, they show up as black. So if somebody if somebody's looking at your feed, they're going to see a black picture and they're not going to know what is going on there. They're just going to scroll right past it and they're not going to view it. So cut the video for Instagram where it starts with with an actual picture. On YouTube, when you've got your video, find a good spot in there, and if you're using Premiere for editing, you can actually take a screenshot of a good spot, use that, and just create a quick caption, and then use that as a user-generated thumbnail. And that'll be the thumbnail that shows up. And that'll also help to improve the viewability and the number of people who actually click through into your videos for YouTube. So that's a great point for YouTube that I wanted to pass along.
Where are we?
We talked about developing relationships in your industry, supporting one another. On Facebook, join groups and share your relevant content. We talked about that before, but join those groups that allow you to share content. Look at the top post or the rules of the group. Not every group allows you to share from a page. So if you've got a page that has your own content, not every group allows you to share directly from your page onto their page, and they'll actually kick you out if that's the case.
Follow your group rules.
Follow your group rules.
Yeah.
Be a good group member.
Yeah.
Got to get ready for bed. 4:30 comes early. Thanks all for your info. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Don't forget our YouTube page, Jump Online. I'll also mention, we still have quite a few people online right now. We do have a Patreon page. If you want to support us, you can buy prints from us. You can go to Patreon/GoodBullOutdoors and sign up to support us on Patreon as well. But we're going to keep going here. Invite people to like your page through post likes on Facebook. This is something that a lot of people don't know about. If you've got a page and people are liking your photos, if you click on the likes themselves, you will actually see a list of the individuals who have liked your content, and there's going to be a button off to the right where you can actually like those individuals. Alerters, calendars. Actually, you're the second person that's asked us about calendars. We haven't done them yet. Maybe with enough lead time, if we get enough interest, we could actually generate an elk calendar. So maybe we'll start doing some stories asking people to do a poll about whether or not they want to have calendars for 2020.
We can also, any sort of merchandise or anything that y'all specifically want, just DM us as well, and we can try to make that happen. It doesn't have to be this big bulk thing that we have to do in order for you to get something that you would like. We'd love to help anybody out if they like any of our stuff on any sort of crazy thing.
Yep, we're working with somebody right now on trying to create some coffee mugs and getting our pictures actually wrapped around on the coffee mug, so you get some of our art with
your coffee.
With your coffee,
yeah.
With your daily coffee, so you get a little bit of Good Bull Outdoors every morning when you're drinking your cup of coffee, when you're waking up at 4:30 in the morning. RMEF does calendars. It's Tough Neighborhood. Yes, they do. We actually submit photos to them, although we haven't been selected. If you guys want to yell at RMEF for us and tell them they need to pick one of our photos to get in the annual calendars, that'd be wonderful.
Or for Bugle.
Or for Bugle, yeah, we keep submitting photos for Bugle as well. We haven't been selected. One of our good friends, Bo Priestcorn, he recently got selected. Dale Evans, he also recently got selected. He's with Restless Soul Photography up in Bozeman and BP Outdoor Photography down in New Mexico. And then I wanted to talk a minute about giveaways. We talked a little bit about it. So the big thing with giveaways, and I think we'll probably just save giveaways for like a whole other discussion. I think we could do a whole topic.
Into the gear even.
Yeah, we could do that with the gear as well. But we can talk about giveaways another time. There's good and there's bad about giveaways, but it's really a bigger topic than I think we have time left for here. The next thing is becoming a brand. Track your metrics. I think we're going to have to plug in here pretty quick. I think we're just about out of battery. All right, give us a second. We're not going to drop the video, but I am going to have to move the thing up and make it so that we can plug this guy in. So it's going to get a little bit shaky for a second, and then we'll be right back to joining you. Stand by for this quick elk interruption. All right. We will have juice momentarily. All right, we got it.
Okay.
All right. Let's see here. Whitetails, that would be awesome. I think they would be perfect for gifts. Yeah, those are going to be really cool. I think the pricing that we're looking at, I think we're going to be able to do $25, which includes shipping. Backcountry Rookies, is that a Canon, Nikon, or Sony? We actually have a Panasonic video camera, and we use Canon for our still photos.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. All right, so I said track your metrics. This next section is going to be all about creating a brand. We actually have specific questions about creating a brand and how do you grow a brand. I think it was either Backcountry Rookies or Treading Timber that asked this question. So we're going to go a little bit into building a brand. So this is different magic sauce, but it's still pretty cool stuff. Arby's sauce? No,
Special sauce.
Special sauce. This is the special sauce, not the magic sauce. This is the special sauce. Track your metrics. We talked about what we track. Total followers, profile visits over the last 7 days, total interactions, highest and lowest interactions, average daily interactions, website clicks, emails, highest reach, lowest reach, average daily reach, the number of posts that we did in the past week, the number of impressions that we did in the past week, and the average impression per post. Those are all the things that we track for Instagram. For Facebook, it's total page followers, total page likes in the last 7 days, page views, video views, reach in the last 7 days, post engagement the last 7 days, and news post followers the last 7 days. And that's just literally scratching the surface of what you can track on both of these different areas. We were tracking a lot more than that when we were doing that one account. For example, we were even tracking the number of likes per post for the last 15 posts that we had set up by setting up as a business profile for Instagram. Yes, if you're set up as a business profile, you will get access to a lot of metrics that you don't have as an individual. And the same thing goes for Facebook as well. Facebook will give you 30 days rolling, either 7 days or 30 days rolling metrics. And then YouTube has an entire analytics section in it that they've created and enhanced recently that I still need to get back into a little bit. But there's a ton of metrics that you can get into as far as viewership, click-through rates. Once you're monetized, you can see how many people are staying through the advertisements that are being posted on there. You can start generating income. You can start doing that A/B testing for defining how people are actually sticking with your account and sticking with your videos through the different advertisements that are showing up. So all sorts of metrics that you can do. If you really are serious about growing, start tracking your metrics, and you'll start understanding why a post is performing better versus other posts, and that will allow you to better engage your audience and reach them. Set realistic but challenging goals. Literally, set weekly goals, set monthly goals, set quarterly goals, set annual goals. If we did not set a goal of doing these lives, we would not be doing these lives right now. We sat down and we said, hey, how do we want to grow Good Bull Outdoors? And we started brainstorming. How do we want to do this? Do we want to start getting out there more in front of people? Honestly, I personally was inspired by Elk Calling Academy. They started after we did. They've done a fantastic job at growing. But one of the things that I'm super impressed about how they've grown is the guy puts himself out there every week on Wapiti Wednesday. He calls it Wapiti Wednesday, but he puts himself out there every week and answers questions. And we thought, when we're not doing that. We're not talking about how to call. We're not talking about how to call elk in necessarily. But we've got a ton of information. We've got a ton of things that we think people need to know, that people want to know. And these live Q&As have actually grown out of that. And we've just decided to put ourselves out there for good, better, or worse. And
Yeah.
some people think it's worse.
No, not you. Definitely not you. You're great.
No, you're still a little bit hesitant about being out there in front of people, and it's, public speaking can be scary for folks. But I think the biggest thing that you guys can understand from what we're doing here, we're exactly like you. The only difference is, if you're not doing this, we just said, hey, we're going to do this. If people don't like it, if people don't want to see it, they don't have to tune in.
Yeah, that's true.
But we appreciate you tuning in. And we appreciate that. About 1,000 people viewed our last Q&A. I think the numbers are going to be even higher this time, and not just because we're going on an hour and a half. I think we're right at an hour and a half right now. And we apologize for this going so long, but we've had some great questions, and we really appreciate you guys engaging with us for this long and sticking around. Really.
Sorry, I think I need to finish up dinner, so
Okay.
our youngest Nat can actually eat before she goes to bed.
Yep.
Thank y'all so much for letting me be part of this. This guy's a genius when it comes to this, and I hope that I can help out with the next gear one. I have a lot of info for that, especially geared towards women. So thank y'all so much. Thanks and gig 'em.
By the way, Jeremy said his wife loves your braid.
Thank
And
you.
Arizona
You
Elk
can-
Society said thumbs up.
Thanks. You can tell him the whole situation with
We'll,
that.
we'll do the situation another time. We'll go ahead and get through this one. Hoka Whitetails, did you take classes on photography or learn on the go? It's intimidating to start without knowing what lenses to use and when. Ask us questions. We'll be more than happy to help you about lenses. If you're looking to get an intro set, We'll be more than happy to tell you based on your price range what we think would be good for you. The same thing goes for videography. Reach out to us. We're more than happy to answer those questions. And I tell you what, send us those questions in a DM. We'll add those to the gear review next time. We will create lists of things that we think would be good for different folks at different levels. We'll talk about new gear. We'll talk about used gear. We'll talk about hunting gear. We'll talk about photography and video gear. Sky's the limit. Any questions you have, send us a DM. We'll also be putting some stories up on that one. Backcountry Rookies, what are we having for dinner? We are having chicken and rice.
With cream of chicken.
With cream of chicken in it, and what's the vegetable we're having tonight? Put you on the spot.
Broccoli.
Broccoli. We're having broccoli with it tonight. Okay. Let's see. Any questions on that so far? Okay. What would you recommend for first steps taking in starting a new page from scratch to build it into a source that reaches a big audience? I'm not sure if you were here for the very first part. We did talk about brand uniformity. That's the very first thing. Coming up with a catchy name. You don't have to have a logo right away. Making sure that you secure whatever name you are going to have in your brand across each one of your pages. That's the big thing to do to start off right away. Then determining whether you're a content creator or you're going to be using user-generated content. Determining who your audience is and how you want to reach them. And then ultimately determining if you want to sell something. We actually didn't start this to get into selling things. We've had so many people reach out and say, hey, when are you guys going to have, when are you going to have some branded content? And actually, when we went to the Western Hunt Expo, we looked at the Born and Raised Outdoors folks, we looked at the Hush folks, and we said, geez, we've got a great following. There's people that want our stuff. We're actually doing a disservice by not creating some stuff out there that they can purchase and show their their affiliation with and their affection for Good Bull Outdoors and the content that we create. So we decided to go ahead and start small, get a little bit of stuff out there, and we'll get some stuff out there for you guys. We want to make it so that you can have that stuff and say, hey, I enjoy Good Bull Outdoors, and we love the passion that Good Bull Outdoors brings to elk and conservation, and that's how you build a brand. You have passion. You bring other people to join you in your passion, and you reach them and you connect with them. So that's how in a nutshell. We talked about metrics. We talked about goals. Find other people out there that have the same passion, that have the same audience, that want to do the same things. Don't be afraid to say, hey, we would love to meet with you online on a monthly basis and talk about goals and just maybe hold each other accountable to these goals. Let's continue to grow by holding each other accountable. And this is like business 101. I've been doing project management for a long time. I actually have an IT background and setting goals for my employees, setting goals as a project manager, holding people accountable through weekly or monthly meetings. That's how you get things accomplished. And if you are serious about growing, having somebody else that is willing to hold you accountable is how you can grow your account. It's the same way with exercising. That's how people, hold each other accountable, is how you can meet goals in your exercising goals. You've really seen a lot of the fitness aspect join the hunting and outdoor world. Having somebody hold you accountable is a huge factor in a lot of people's success. That's why people join like the Mountain Ops 90-day challenge and things like that. The next thing, be approachable. It's not just getting out there and saying, I'm going to post a comment on everybody's post that has an elk picture. Be approachable. Like we said, we don't mind answering your questions. We don't mind doing a live. We don't mind sharing information that you have. If you've got a nonprofit that you're supporting and you're doing a giveaway and you want to, you're doing a giveaway for that group. Arizona Elk Society asked us, hey, would you mind donating a print? We donated a 20 by 30 canvas print. Other folks. So we had somebody from Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation that had a chapter. They said, hey, have you ever considered donating some stuff for the various chapters? And we said, hey, I'll tell you what. We will give you cost for any of our photos that we have. We will get it printed up for our cost and send it out to you that you can use at any of your banquets. We support the nonprofits. We want to help them succeed. We're working with Colorado Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. Arizona Elk Society, you're very welcome. We love supporting your nonprofit organization that helps elk and elk habitat and elk conservation. We are working with Train to Hunt and Backcountry Hunters and Anglers on a pint night down in Colorado Springs at Oscar Blues. That's going to be April 27th. You may have seen a post about it on our story. We're going to be doing a post about that on our actual feed here. We're co-hosting the event through our Facebook page, so check that out if you're going to be in the area. If you're not in the area, think about how you can engage in different things like that, either by donating or helping out these organizations. We've got, images that we are, donating as part of the flyers. We're donating our time on doing the editing for these various flyers. We're getting ourselves out there. We're being approachable. The more you can do that as a brand, the more people will recognize that, hey, this is somebody that isn't just in this for themselves. They're in this for everybody. They're in this to help hunting. They're in this to help the conservation movement, and they're somebody that I want to support. So that's another way that you can really grow that brand, is to be approachable. Reach out to potential partners. We already talked about that. Discuss projects that are mutually beneficial. If you've got an idea, if you want to get into videography and you've got this great idea, reach out to somebody who can help make that idea a reality. We are in the process of talking right now about producing a video that's being sponsored by somebody that is going to be that's going to show how a group is helping to bring new hunters into our group of hunters. People who've never been hunting before, kids who are in college right now that have never been out hunting before. This group wants to have us do a video that's going to show a program that they've created that is going to, we're actually going to track the emotional changes and the experience that they're going to have as they see hunting firsthand for the first time. It's going to be really cool. I think we had another question there. Arizona Elk Society said we were in discussions about doing some videos on our veterans hunting program. Yeah, absolutely. We did talk about that. We want to continue to talk about that. We would love to get to do some videos with the Arizona Elk Society and veterans. For those that don't know, both my parents, my father was 4 years enlisted in the Navy and 18 and a half years as an officer in the Air Force. My mother was over 2 years in the Navy, enlisted as well. So we've got a very strong feeling towards veterans who support our country and who have put themselves on the line to defend our country, and we have very, very strong support for veterans in any capacity. And Hoko Whitetail says he's active duty. Thank you for your service. We appreciate it. Anybody who's in the reserve or active duty or retired, you guys are our people. I grew up on Air Force bases. So I'm very strongly tied to our veterans and our active duty. Jeremy said, would you be willing to do professional videography / photography for other events? Yes, we actually offer videography services. We've got a daily rate for doing that. We also do full production. So we can take not only the raw video that we get, but we will also take it into Premiere Pro, add audio to it as well, and do the full production realm. For those videos, we're actually going to be donating, because it's a good cause, we're going to be donating the cost of doing the editing. And we are going to be doing a full edit of multiple full-length videos, not just for that group, but also for the group that's sponsoring it, that's paying for the daily rate for us to get out there, and then for the outfitter who is actually hosting the event, that is helping to bring the college students out there and helping them work with them to harvest an animal and actually go through the process of butchering that animal. So yes, we do those special projects. We do pretty much any type of photography, commercial photography, videography. We do the whole 9 yards. One thing I wanted to mention about sponsorships, a lot of people are in this to get out there and get sponsors, get some free gear, I'm just going to say, try to break even on the cost of the equipment and the time that they spend doing this. A lot of people just want to break even on it, or at least offset some of the costs that they have for this. Beware of bad sponsors. And what I mean by bad sponsors are people who, they send you a little bit of free gear, but they don't do anything for you in return beyond that free gear. Are they reposting your content? Are they giving you credit for your content? Are they a partner with you? It's actually one of our sponsors that's going to be going to be sponsoring this nonprofit to put together this video. So they're not just supporting us as a content producer, they're actually sponsoring us to help put together video. And I'll just say it right now. It's Burris Optics. Burris Optics has been a fantastic partner to work with. We're an ambassador for Burris. We put a post out there about that. They are actually paying for the videography for this nonprofit group for us to put together this video for this program for getting new hunters into hunting. So sponsors like that who are actually going to be out there, who are actually going to actively promote you and actively promote what you're doing, those are the kind of sponsors that you want in your brand to help support your brand. Another thing that I wanted to say about becoming a brand is know your worth. Don't give everything away for free. Give some things away for free because you want to support others that are out there and others that are trying to grow. And that's why we give away a lot to nonprofits. We give away for costs because we can't support. We can't just pay for everything that all the canvas prints and all the metal prints. We can't pay for all of those for all the nonprofits that want that. But we can provide digital prints for nonprofits. The video that we took of the helicopter dropping water on the fire up in Rocky Mountain National Park with the big bull elk in the foreground, we donated video for that to wildland fire groups. We donated photo releases for the photos that went out there for anybody that was in the wildland fire group that wanted to get a copy of that printed off, and so they were able to go and print those out at no cost. We provided them a content release for that. So that's another way to grow that brand, is to be worthwhile to somebody else. Sky at Burris is the man. Jeremy said, no, it's from Arizona Elk Society. Jeremy said, I'm fully sponsored pro rifleman. I'm an ambassador for 2 brands, and you will never make money being sponsored. 5 years, and there is a symbiotic and sympathetic relationship. Absolutely, you got it absolutely right. Support your brands, that are supporting you, but make sure that they're supporting you as well. It is a symbiotic relationship. It needs to be. Nothing in life is free. Absolutely. Don't give everything away. You do deserve, if you are creating good content, you do deserve to have some of your time being offset, some of your content being offset by monetary gain. Maybe you can't be to the point where you make a living out of this, but for us at least, we're hoping to gain gas money out of this. We would do this regardless, but every time that we drive up to the mountains, it's a tank of gas, and it adds up over time. We put on, babe, how many miles did we put on last year? 60,000 miles on the vehicle? Yeah. So 60,000 miles on a vehicle, gas, oil changes, etc. It's not cheap to bring this content, and we know people love this content, and we want to continue to share the content. So when we're selling prints, we're not making a ton of money off of this. We are offsetting the cost that it takes to bring this, but we would eventually like to earn enough money to try to do this full time, and I think that's probably going to be maybe a 5-year plan. We don't know, we'll see. The more we grow, the more people like and follow and share our stuff, the more we're fortunate with people supporting us on Patreon and other sources, the more that we can make more of this content reality, the more that we can continue to grow our brand, and the more that you'll be able to continue to grow your brand doing the same thing. We're really all following that same path. Don't be discouraged by the ebb and flow of social media, and that's really where we talked about Instagram kind of shutting us down a little bit. Don't be discouraged by that. They're gonna do what they're gonna do. Diversify, continue to grow, figure out new strategies, come up with new goals. If you can't reach your goal because Instagram decided they're gonna limit your content, but you still have a voice, you still have a message, figure out other ways to get that out there. You can create an email group. I've started creating a small email group for these live sessions. I've created, if people want to get a reminder about our next live session, I've created just basically a rolling email group that I will add your email to it, and you'll get a reminder for these various sessions, and that way you can make sure that you have an opportunity to tune in. But you can create a larger email group. I know that some of the larger resellers, they have email lists that they have compiled, and they send information out to those folks. That's a way to reach people. I'll just use Randy Newberg as an example because he brought it up on the Elk Talk podcast and on his personal podcast as well, which I think is Randy Newberg Hunter. But these various podcasts can have email groups as well, where they're reaching out to their following, and they're doing it outside of necessarily social media. Randy Newberg also has his hunting series on Amazon, so he's putting his videos not just on YouTube but also on Amazon as well. Diversify, grow create a strategy for how you want to engage with your audience. And the better your content, the better you engage with them, the more that you're going to see your brand grow and be recognized. I got to tell you, it's been just absolutely awe-inspiring for us to be going to events and to walk up to people who have very recognizable brands, let us know that they recognize us and they appreciate our content. And they want to continue to work with us, and they want to continue to see what we come up with next. It's been really just humbling to us to become a recognized name. It's not something that we expected so soon. Jeremy said, where do you see Good Bull Outdoors in 1 year? We expect to have merchandise. We expect to be doing maybe more frequent Q&As. We'd love it if we had a greater stream of our audience coming to us and saying, we'd like to hear you talk about this. And maybe instead of us going, I think we're pushing 2 hours now, instead of us going 2 hours, if we could maybe do this on a weekly basis. We do have 3 kids. We've got a life. We still have to go up and take photos and videos of deer and elk and hunting and all this great stuff. But we would love to have more frequent interaction with people. We'd love to have more people DMing us, asking us questions, and more interaction. We'd love to do more joint hunts with people. We're talking right now with Jay Miller, I think it's Jay Miller Co., who lives out in Grand Junction, who we met at the Western Hunt Expo. We're talking about doing a turkey hunt together later this week. So we're looking to have more of those types of experiences as well. That's really where we see Good Bull Outdoors. The continued growth on our social media platforms, maybe a website, maybe a store where we can, offer, those, the t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, hoodies. Yes, my wife loves the hoodies. Leggings, yeah, leggings. Coffee mugs, those sorts of things. Why isn't there? It died. Or I think it died. Am I still here? My phone died.
Really?
Guess it wasn't actually working.
You want to use my phone?
Sure.
Sorry, guys.
It's okay. That's weird. That means I'm not going to be able to save it too. Crushed by Instagram, yes. They're out to get us. Yeah, actually my phone died. No laughing from the peanut gallery. All right, we got a few more folks that have joined back up. Sorry, my phone did die. Apparently plugged in wasn't enough. And I know this phone's running a little bit low on juice. So I'm going to get to kind of the end of this. How do you grow a following? 3 simple things. The golden rule, treat others the way that they want to be treated. Audience participation, actually participate with your audience and allow them to participate with you. And consistent performance. It is not easy. I will tell you, it is not easy posting 3 times a day. It gets in the way. The best way that you can be sure that you are posting as frequently as you need to be posting is to plan ahead. And I'm terrible at this. I'll readily admit it. I've got a group of photos that I have ready to go, and I tend to email myself 3 photos to be ready. But you can actually save those photos ahead of time. Basically, like pre-build them out. You can put in all the hashtags, you can put in the comment, and you can put in the tagging, and you can save that. And you can just simply have that waiting and ready to go. And then when it's time to post, all you have to do is select the item that's sitting there waiting, and you can post it. Real jobs. You look like a CPA or banker. I'm an IT guy. I've been working in IT for a long time. since 2001, in fact, doing IT project management. Been an IT manager. I've been a CEO of a health information technology company. I've owned a couple of companies myself. So real job, yeah, IT manager, IT director, CIO, CEO, that sort of thing. My wife is a veterinarian, and she's double board certified in emergency. Let me get this right here, babe. Emergency and critical care. Hey, that's a thumbs up. We got it. So yes, we do have real jobs. This is just something that we really enjoy doing. So we talked about not being discouraged by the ebb and flow, how to grow a following, and how to prevent the unfollow. So we actually talked about that. Ultimately, that's on them. You know, we don't really follow the game. Don't feel like just because somebody follows you that you have to follow them, regardless of how big you are. You don't have to. If you are genuine, if you've got good content, if you care about creating relationships with people, that's what it takes to grow an account. It's not the whole follow-unfollow joke. We have had so many people that played that follow-unfollow game. We didn't play along. Ultimately, once they realized that we were the real deal, that we were posting regularly, that we had great content, they wanted to join us. They wanted to be following us, and they wanted to see what we posted next. That's the fix. That's it right there. So that's it. 2 pages. 2 pages of content that we typed up for this thing. We got lots of metrics and all that sort of stuff. I'm going to go ahead and leave it open for, I'm going to say 5 more minutes for any questions that you guys have. Hoko Whitetail said that drives me crazy when I follow back and then they disappear. There are actually there are apps out there that you can download that will allow you to see who has who you are following, who doesn't follow you, and you can then unfollow those individuals if you really want to do that. Backcountry Rookies nailed it. Thank you. You're welcome. We had a ton of information to share. I thought I could get through it in an hour. You guys had great questions. I'm happy to go 2 hours. I think we exhausted a number of people, but we're going to try to get this whole thing up online on YouTube. It's going to be a really long video, but we got the good video camera going. You're going to see me staring down at my phone. You see both of us staring down at the phone for quite a while. Apologize for that, but I think you'll get a lot of content out of it as well. And if folks are really interested, I can actually send you guys the outline. I'm going to say anybody who has agreed to, that wants the invite, I can send you a Word document or a PDF document of the outline to kind of give you the outline of what it is that we talked about, so that maybe you don't have to take notes on this yourself as we went along. You'll be able to see some of this information and maybe recall it without having to memorize it. Jeremy, thanks for the advice. Hoping my Tennessee elk and competitor who hunt works long term. Yeah, thanks for tagging us on that. We love seeing other people's elk stuff, and thanks for tagging us. We're happy to comment on there. Love to see more Tennessee elk.
Hey, babe.
Yes.
You should ask them how they feel about having our dogs present next time.
That's a great question. So my wife said, "How do you guys feel about having our dogs be present for the next Q&A?" I'll just warn you, they may try to tip over the tripods that we have our stuff set up on. But what do you guys think?
You should tell them what breed they are.
I should tell them. Well, you should tell them what breed they are.
I don't know if they can hear me.
They probably can't hear you. It probably means I'm talking to myself. We have a Bernese Mountain Dog, and what do you want me to tell them the cubby is? Maltese.
What do you
Okay. I don't want to get it wrong. You're the vet. Let's see here. And we had a couple other things. Arizona Elk Society, thanks. Get something to eat. I will shortly. I'll give you guys 2 more minutes here. I love how you put the elk horns on your head. Yeah, there we go. Now we got it. Yeah, that's actually a photography not to do sort of thing. And I wasn't doing that back when my actual phone wasn't dead. So keep that in mind. Gus the Goat, _ Backcountry Rookies, I'm in. Cool. C. Mahoney Photography. Love your photography, guys, by the way. You guys are great. Love that you're willing to share your knowledge. Thank you. Looking forward to watching the replay too. You're very welcome. Thank you for the compliment. Jeremy works for me on the DM list from invites. Puppies are always welcome. Bring on the dogs. Thumbs up. That's perfect. Yes. Go for it. I've got 2 labs. I love labs. All the dogs. Hey, they say they can hear you.
Oh, they can?
Yeah.
What about kids?
Kids on it? Do you guys want kids on this? They're teenagers. We've got 3 teenagers. Just fair warning. What not to do? What do you mean what not to do? You mean as far as like things not to do when you're taking photos? Oh, babe, you're not gonna like this.
What?
Backcountry Rookies has boxers.
They have boxers?
They have boxers.
Oh.
She loves boxers. She had a boxer. She really misses her boxer. Backcountry Rookie said my boxers like to hang out with me when I record podcasts. Jeremy said absolutely. Yes, the antlers behind your head. So somebody actually asked the question. I forgot to get back to it. So I'm going to actually answer that question right now. How did I learn to do photography? I've been doing photography since I was a kid. I've been doing photography since the film days, way back when. One of the rules that you learn with photography is to, much like guns, not just look at your subject, but what's behind your subject. So if you look at taking a picture of a person and there's a light pole in the background, you don't want the light pole coming up out of their head. It just makes the picture look weird, and then nothing looks right. So that's one of the things that I've learned through the years in photography back during the film day. I took photography in high school. I took a couple of photography classes in high school, and I took a couple in college, mainly because they were just a fun elective and I was doing it anyway. So I got some Lightroom time doing black and white film photography, and eventually I switched over to digital, but wildlife photography has always kind of been my passion, and I've been using Canon cameras. My first Canon camera was a Canon AE1, using film and taking pictures with that. True Altitude, thank you for joining. You actually joined right at the very end. We'll give about 1 more minute for photos, and for those that have just joined, I want to let you know that we've recorded about 2 hours, just over 2 hours worth of video on this topic on social media management, and we're going to be posting it up on our YouTube page in the next couple of days. So if you want a primer on how to improve your Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, social media management, etc., then stay tuned and check out our YouTube page, youtube.com/GoodbullOutdoors. Backcountry Rookie said, well, I just want to say you have a nice rack. Very nice. Busker Cooks joined. Hey, great to have you join. Love seeing some of the food that you're creating, but more than that, I just want to tell you, really enjoy the journey that you've had in joining the ranks of the hunters and learning hunting as you've been going along. Would love to see you do more live events as well. And maybe we can join forces sometime if we get up there to the Vail Valley, and we can get out hunting, and you can tell us a little bit more about the things that you've learned when you've was starting the journey towards hunting and sustainably sourcing your own organic food, both from the harvest and gather perspectives. That's it. Just over 2 hours of social media management. I'm to the point where I just about can't talk anymore, and I'm getting hungry. So me and the elk are going to go ahead and say goodbye tonight.
Hi, thanks for the shenanigans.
Now, my wife says thanks for the shenanigans. We'll have a lot more for her in the next one. Ladies, make sure you join the next one. We're going to be talking more about gear and how that has both helped and hindered women. Busker Cooks said, thanks guys, love everything you do. I've learned a lot by following you. Thank you very much. We got to stop by your restaurant sometime and have you cook a wonderful meal for us. We'd love to do that. For those that haven't heard of Busker Cooks, go check out his account. He's a new hunter. He started, I believe, last year. He's also a top-notch chef in the Vail Valley. And you can kind of see a little bit of his journey as well. He's actually looking to kind of do his own thing, and sustainably sourcing food is actually going to be one of the things that he says he's going to be doing. Really recommend you go check out his page. And another relatively new photographer, I'm assuming you've been doing it for a long time, but new to social media, Creekbed Photography said, keep doing all you do. Great content. We appreciate it. Man, you've just been knocking it out of the park on the mule deer photos lately. Keep up the great work yourself. And then another really great photographer from Crested Butte area. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. C Mahoney _photography. And then Illini Bowhunter said, great Instagram page. Thank you. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and for anybody that wouldn't mind supporting us, we have a Patreon page where you can join. We're going to have giveaways on Patreon. Some of the items that we have that we're going to be producing and making available to purchase, they're going to be available for giveaways to Patreon-only members over there. We may also start fan subscriptions on Facebook as well, so keep an eye out on that as well. That's it, guys. Thank you for joining. Look for the full video up on YouTube. If you have any questions, DM us. We are happy to answer any questions outside of this. If you have any ideas for future sessions, we are more than happy to have those discussions. Anybody that's interested in having a podcast, we're going to be doing a podcast with Backcountry Rookies later this week, I believe, 7 o'clock on Thursday. Correct me if I'm wrong. Illini Bowhunter said, after missing a 370 bull last year at 30 yards, you keep me going. Jeremy, good night, brother. Definitely good night. Thank you for your service, Jeremy, along with all the other veterans that are on here. Illini Bowhunter, you're welcome for keeping you going. We're going to keep putting out the video, the content, showing you unique stuff that probably nobody else has, and unfortunately probably bringing a lot of our other photographer friends along with us. So you see a lot of stuff across lots of different pages, but it's great stuff. We love doing the photography with other photographers, so if you are a photographer or a videographer and want to get together with us, send us a DM. If you want to hunt, we are hunters, we are supporting hunters. Reach out to us. We want to hunt with other folks as well. So that's it. Good night, and thanks for joining.